So we actually walked down onto 490 at the Child Street exit 11B. We were met by state police, but we just kept walking. The protest is at a standstill right now. It's a face-off between protesters and police, and we're going to give you a little bit of a closer look here. We have moved back behind the crowd. We did notice that some people have the barricades. We noticed earlier today, we'll give you a closer look at this now, but there are some concrete barriers, which is different than what we have seen in the past. There's still police on scene here, and part of Hague Street is shut down off of J Street still. We're going to give you a closer look down here. This is where all the ballots are being stored, and machines from last night are still coming in here, as you can see behind me. Still a lot of work to do here, and the Board of Elections is hard at work here. I'm joined now by one of the people leading the charge, Republican Elections Commissioner Lisa Nicolay. Lisa, explain to us what's going on here. Well, what's left of this house is charred wood, debris, and still the strong smell of smoke in the air. I'm going to step aside to give you a closer look here now. Now, bulldozers have just stopped just a couple minutes ago picking up some of this debris. Board of Elections tells me that they haven't received too many complaints from voters aside from what they call normal issues, such as a voter thinking that they're registered and they're not, or a voter showing up at the wrong polling site. As there are several COVID-19 scams out there, from text messages to emails to calls like this one, which Stamus says he heard about this morning. Hello?
You have the chance to avoid anticipated long lines and get a single dose of the Pfizer COVID vaccine sent to your home for a one-time payment of $79.99.
If you get a call like this, it's a scam. Hang up right away. This used to be the 9th hole of the golf course. Soon, it'll be a place for kids to fish. The historic Clark House is also on the property. LaFountain says buyers are interested in turning it into a restaurant or a brewery. And this area will include a sports field, pickleball and tennis courts, picnic tables, and a playground. And where I'm standing here on Jefferson has also been a starting point for many of the protests that we've seen in the city. Now, Joe Prude says while the past week has been exhausting, he's glad the news about his brother has gotten out. He also said he's inspired by the movement here in Rochester.
There'll never be another Daniel. There will never be.
This is how Joe remembers his brother Daniel, or as he referred to him today, his hip bone.
We should have been twins, but, you know, I'm the oldest, I'm the big brother, so he was a real lovable individual. You know what I mean? And it's like everything Daniel did it for a reason. Oh, he was a hell of a comedian.
After making the details and videos surrounding Daniel's death public last week, Joe says he's exhausted, but it's worth it.
This shouldn't happen to nobody, family member. I don't care what race, creed, color you are. You know what I'm saying? This is something that nobody family should be able to endure. Shouldn't have to endure, right?
Joe's family came into town today, and he says he has to be strong for them.
It's bone crushing because I could see the hurt in my father's face because that was his birthday present. They both was born on the same day. You know, in the moment, every time I look at my father's eyes, all I see is my brother. But I also see the pain and the agony in his eyes.
Joe says he's glad that Rochester Police Chief LeBron Singletary retired, but he also wants Mayor Lovely Warren and Police Union President Mike Mazzio's resignations. More than anything, he says he wants change in the way mental health calls are handled and the officers involved held accountable.
Suspended with pay, that's a damn vacation. My family ain't getting no damn vacation. All we got is heartache and pain right now. I just want the people to come on out, man, and be prosecuted like they're supposed to be. Be held accountable. I want that now. I'm tired of waiting now. You know what I mean? And that's basically, you know what I mean, the bottom line. What's the wait?
Joe says he'll be out again with protesters tonight, and he'll also be bringing his father, who just got into town tonight. And coming up on News 8 at 6, I'll have Joe's thoughts on the Attorney General's investigation and some details of the lawsuit against the city. Live in Rochester, Kayla Green, News 8. New body camera footage shows the girl sitting in the backseat of the car after officers had pepper sprayed her. She can be heard struggling, while an officer also sits in the front seat while they both wait for the ambulance to arrive.
Just prayer. Just prayer at this point. I got her. I got her.
This is the footage released to the public at the end of January, showing a girl getting pepper sprayed by police. Today, new footage reveals what happened in the moments after that.
Officer, please don't do this to me. You did it to yourself, hon.
It's burning my eyes.
Yep, that's the point of pepper spray. The ambulance is on their way, and they will clear your eyes out.
While waiting nearly 15 minutes for the ambulance to arrive, the officer asks the girl several times to spell her name, and the girl asks the officer to call her dad. At one point, the girl asks one of the officers standing outside for help.
Officer, please help
What's
me.
You're fine, dude. Just gotta take a deep breath, okay?
It burns.
And no, it's supposed to burn. It's called pepper spray.
It burns.
The cold air should help, okay?
There's also a portion of body camera footage that shows an exchange between an officer and the girl's mother after they already have the girl in custody.
I gotta run after your daughter. I gotta fight your daughter, and you're busy fighting with somebody in a van. What the heck's wrong with you? You apologize? Now I gotta do paperwork why I put down a 9-year-old girl to the ground.
And before the officers leave the porch, this happened.
I'm sorry, sir.
It's okay, all right?
I'm sorry.
You gotta understand my frustration, right? You're trying to fight with somebody in a van.
I'm sorry.
All right? It's okay. All right? Don't worry about it, all right? We're here to help.
The city also announcing today they've officially opened up the online police disciplinary records database. This info was previously only accessible if the city approved a Freedom of Information request. Live in Rochester, Kayla Green, News 8. Officer Denny Wright says letter carrier Ramik Hill saved his life on October 4th. Hill says he was just doing what anyone would have done, but today he's being honored as a hero.
It's something I didn't expect. I just came to work.
On October 4th, 2019, Ramik Hill's life changed forever. He was working, delivering mail, when he heard gunshots and heard people saying they're trying to kill an officer.
It was just instinct. You just gotta go help. People sitting around, but at times like that, you can't stand around. You gotta do something. It's a human life on the line. Regardless of anything, I was in the right spot at the right time.
He ran inside to help the officer. That officer was Denny Wright.
He walked into a situation where he had no idea what had happened in that house, that somebody needed help. It's a selfless act that he did, and I owe Mr. Hill a debt of gratitude that I can't begin to figure out how to repay.
Kizzy Hill is Ramik's mom. She says she's proud of her son and is glad he was able to prevent something worse from happening.
It's just a blessing to be able to see that even as a single mother and praying to God that you raise your child, black child, black young man, to be a respectful person, not to care about race, color, creed, but human life.
Ramik and Officer Wright met for the first time today. Ramik says he wants people to recognize the work officers like Wright do every day.
It really stands to show that, not every officer is bad, and I wish people would just shoot down that agenda and just work together.
The two families say this brought them together for a reason.
He is the definition of a hero.
We will always be connected. This doesn't stop today. It's going to be forever.
Hill says several RPD officers have reached out to thank him for saving Officer Wright's life. He says they offered to buy him a drink as soon as it's safe to do so. In Rochester, Kayla Green, News 8. What remains of a family's childhood home, charred wood, debris, and the slight smell of smoke still in the air. But I just talked to some family members who just showed up to see their grandparents' home of 50 years completely destroyed, and they say the other thing that remains are the memories.
I learned to ride a bike right here. I learned to swim in that pool.
Lena Liotta's grandparents lived in what used to be this house for 50 years. Her parents grew up here, and basically, so did she.
I remember my papa, this is the last place he was, and him cooking on the grill, Sunday dinners.
She says after her grandfather died, her grandmother couldn't take care of the house, and the family sold it about 10 years ago. She says her mom wished she hadn't, and the family planned to buy it back. In fact, Liotta says her mom was supposed to have a walkthrough of the house today.
If there's one thing I'm grateful for, it's that she wasn't here. My mom had actually called me to tell me that she got off the phone with my uncle saying she was going to buy it, that she was for sure going to do it, and that 5 minutes after having that conversation with him, he got a call from the neighbor saying that it's on fire.
Liotta says for years she avoided coming back to this street because she missed it so much. But as of recently, she started driving by again. She says seeing the home like this today was hard, but things happen for a reason.
This isn't what I'll remember. Sorry. I'll remember all of them, and these two being babies here. It is just a house, but it meant a lot. So for those people that just, oh, it's a cool spectacle for them, it was a lot to us. Forever, it always has been. Even when it wasn't ours, it was still Grandma's house.
There were no injuries to neighbors or firefighters, and the homeowner has been located and is safe. Police are also asking people not to drive by and take photos of the damage.
Hey guys, what's up? How are you?
A surprise delivery. Cairo Vargas and his brothers were shocked to open the door to gifts this afternoon.
Appreciate everything you guys done. You know, it was a big surprise. Thank you.
Are you excited about these gifts?
Yeah.
The two delivering the gifts, local restaurant owners Ross and Lauren Mueller. Each year they have Christmas trees with families for customers to adopt. This year it went virtual.
We did a social media post to anyone that's interested supporting families this year for Christmas, please reach out.
The boy's mom, Maura, says she feels so lucky to be in this program. All others like it were full. She says she kept it a secret from her sons until today.
I appreciate it right now with the pandemic. It's hard for a lot of families. You know, it has no discrimination, black, white, Puerto Rican, old, young. It means the world to me. It brings tears to my eyes. Like I said, you know, the world could use more people like them, and it's just great. I'm just so grateful to see my kids smile.
This was the last of 12 deliveries today, and Ross says it's important to him to give back to the community that's been supporting him through this pandemic.
The wind did not cause my tears when we were watching her express her gratitude. It's just, you know, I don't care how well the restaurants are doing, how poorly, that becomes irrelevant at a certain point. When you look at others in need, and there's always somebody in need, that's what becomes more important.
You guys are angels in disguise. I really do appreciate it. You guys really did make my year. You made my kids' year. This, I can actually say, despite the pandemic, this is going to be one of the greatest Christmases ever for me and for them.
The boys say they'll open some gifts early and save the rest for Christmas morning. In Rochester, Kayla Green, News 8.